Hey guys, it's Mrs. Yeagle. I'm on page 326, and this is chapter 32 of Addison Cooke and the Tomb of the Khan. We left off at a page break, and you were supposed to be thinking about how is this setting different, you know? So here we go. "Is that you, Addison?" came a familiar voice from the neighboring cell. "Uncle Nigel!" Addison reached out through the bars and clasped his uncle's unseen hand. He held it for a minute. He couldn't help but notice how frail and tired his uncle sounded. "Is Aunt Delia all right?" "She's holding up. They're keeping us in separate cells to break our morale. How are you? How's Molly? Eddie and Raj?" "Everyone's fine. Eddie's even getting in some good piano practice. I negotiated to see you because I need your help. We have to work quickly. I don't know how much time Madame Feng will give us together." Addison used his pencil to bookmark a page in his notebook. He passed both around the bars to his uncle. "It's Sir Frederick's next clue. I need your help with the French." "You found the lance of Sir Frederick?" cried Uncle Nigel. "Oh, yes." Addison was careful not to mention anything about setting fire to the museum. "So, Sir Frederick left his lance in Ulaanbaatar, his helm in Karakoram, his sword in Kashgar, and his shield in Samarkand." Uncle Nigel laughed. "It's a good thing he didn't make it all the way back to Europe. He'd have arrived naked." He uncrinkled the notebook page and held it out to the candlelight. He translated aloud for Addison. "Praise be to the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. God is my shield, my sword, my helm, and my lance." "I've got that part," said Addison. "Right, but since you found the lance, that makes this Sir Frederick's final clue. My old French is not as strong as Delia's, but I shall do my best." He bent his gaze to the notebook. "In the land no living Mongol may pass, I climbed the Eagle Cliff. I swam beneath a river and crawled under a mountain to the city of the dead. Know the Khan to open the tomb, know thyself to escape." Uncle Nigel scratched away in the dark, translating the clue into Addison's notebook. He slid the notebook and pencil back through the iron bars. Addison tucked them inside his blazer pocket. It was not an easy feat, as his wrists were still duct taped together. "I don't know if we'll make it out of here," said Uncle Nigel's voice in the darkness. "Madame Feng told me she's taking you and Aunt Delia north tomorrow. I don't think she intends to let us survive. We know far too much about her and her crimes." Uncle Nigel took a long sigh. "Oh, Addison, there's so much I need to tell you." "You mean about the prophecy?" "Yes, there is a prophecy, and it involves killing cooks." "It does," said Uncle Nigel. "And there's a very dangerous man named Malazar who believes this prophecy. Some call him the Shadow because few people have ever seen his face. He will stop at nothing. I did not want to put your Aunt Delia at risk. You remember, of course, our separation this past year?" Addison nodded. "A trial separation, but you're back together now." "We are." Uncle Nigel sighed again in the darkness. "Do you understand now why I tried to separate from Aunt Delia? Men are trying to kill off our family to fulfill the prophecy. I thought if I could leave Delia, it would save her life, and maybe yours as well." Addison's thoughts were swimming. Drowning might be a better word. Uncle Nigel continued. "I wasn't separating from your aunt because I don't like her. I was doing it because I love her." Addison swallowed hard but could not rid himself of the lump swelling in his throat. It tugged at the corners of his cheeks, it pulled his lips to a stiff frown, and it wetted his eyes. Uncle Nigel spoke faster. "You and Molly are in grave danger. You always have been. If anything ever happens to me—" "No," said Addison. "You and Aunt Delia are going to be fine." "If anything ever happens to me," Uncle Nigel continued, "you and Molly must find your Uncle Jasper in England. He will know how to keep you safe." Addison shook his head. "It's because of archaeology, isn't it? This prophecy, it involves some secret from the past. It's this obsession with the past that puts us in these situations. If we didn't care about dusty old relics, we'd be home, safe, in New York." "That's not what you really want, is it, Addison? To give up on the past?" "I don't want to lose you and Aunt Delia like I lost my mom and dad. I wish we were a family of stockbrokers." "I need to show you something. It's the medallion I wear around my neck." Addison heard a scrape of metal across the stone floor. He reached through the cell bars and lifted a bronze medallion into the air. It twirled on its chain in the candlelight. This is who you really are. Embossed in the polished surface, Addison saw an eye in the center of the rays of a bright sun. But this is the symbol on Sir Frederick's shield. We are an ancient order. He was one of us, Addison. One of who? For the first time, Addison noticed 5 Latin words surrounding the rays of light. He did not yet know enough Latin to translate. I think you know, said Uncle Nigel. My father, too, and your Uncle Jasper. Addison watched the medallion twirl on its bronze chain. He wondered how long it had been in his family. He wondered about the prophecy of the Cookes. Did you read your Sun Tzu? I did. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Addison tried to hand the medallion through the metal bars, but his uncle pushed it back. You must take it, Addison. It may save your life. Addison took a deep breath. He heard footsteps approaching in the passage. I'll hold on to it for you until we all escape together. He fed the locket and chain into his inside blazer pocket. Who stepped into the chamber, unlocked Uncle Nigel's cell, and hauled him toward the exit. Addison was startled by the sight of his uncle, stooped over with his hands chained to his feet with manacles. Uncle Nigel's face was haggard and his beard spotted with gray. He looked at Addison with tired eyes. Remember who you are, Addison. Always remember who we've taught you to be. Who dragged Addison's uncle away. A few minutes later, Madame Feng appeared in the chamber. Have you had time to think? Yes. Addison rose to his feet. Tell me the clue. I will do you one better. Madame Feng, if I deliver you the golden whip, will you release my aunt and uncle? Madame Feng smiled, bemused. I hate to tell you this, but you are on the wrong side of these bars. Let me worry about that. I deliver you the whip, and you have everything you want. Will be of no more use to you. The whip for my family's freedom. Addison thrust his duct-taped hands through the bars and held them out for Madame Feng to shake. Madame Feng's smile was as straight and flat as a guillotine. I don't make bargains with prisoners. I'll let you spend the night in here. In the morning, I will give you one final chance to talk. Addison reached out and gripped her hand. Promise me, the whip for my family's lives. She snapped her hand away. I will have both, the whip and your family's lives. Madame Feng strutted out of the chamber, blowing out the candle, leaving Addison in darkness.